It's 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and it's time for
The Craig and Ryland Magic Review Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to another review show right here on
Magic TV.
Abso-freaking-lutely. And we are back with 4 tricks. 4, you know what? On this channel, we don't always look at the latest and greatest tricks that everyone's talking about. Sometimes we look at the ones that have gone underground a little bit, that less people are talking about. And that's what we try to do on this channel. Some of the latest stuff, some of the greatest stuff, some of the new stuff that's really hyped, and some of the stuff that's not really hyped. Yeah. And today, we're going to be looking at 2 tricks. I'll tell you right now, 2 of them are really good, and 2 of them are not. Or at least in our opinion. Now, would you like to start off, Rye, with a good one or a not so good one?
Let's do a not so good one.
Let's start off with a not so good one. We're going to start off with another Sharpie trick. So last week on the review show, Rye, we reviewed it.
Yeah, we had that pen where it was a black pen, and all of a sudden it changed to a red pen.
Yeah, and that trick was
not so good.
It was not good. Okay. I mean, it was it wasn't practical. We talked about how you couldn't do it in the real world. You did it on social media. It's not really something that you could do really often in the real world. Well, the same guy, Alan Vachon, has brought out Hit Pen. Now, this has got like, I think, a 5-minute tutorial or something like this. There's no live performances. It's a very short tutorial. And this is going to allow you to vanish, well, not really vanish, I suppose you could vanish it, but really the main purpose for this is to make a Sharpie marker appear. Within the 5-minute video, there's a couple of other things that you can do with the gimmick, but in essence, it's designed to make a Sharpie marker appear. Well, have a look at this first of all. I've done a very quick performance to camera. By the way, mark your calendars, because this review show, because he's been so busy, I have actually performed all 4 tricks on this review show. I can't think of the time that happened before. So I'm performing all 4 tricks on this. So you're going to see, it is normally, we're going to see a performance. I had to work this week, I hate it.
It's probably because we're doing all the rehearsals for all the illusions.
Well, every spare second that you've got, you're doing magic and mischief, aren't you? So I kind of stepped in. Yeah. I did my thing.
You helped.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. So let's have a look at a performance of me doing Hit Pen. They missed the letter off the beginning of this product, I think. Yeah. There should have been an S, really. It should have had an S in it. Really, should have had an S at the beginning. But let's have a look at this performance. I'm holding this position just because I've decided I want to look mysterious. It's not like this is the 15th take or anything. No. This is me looking mysterious as I'm about to perform for you the what's it called? Is it the Hit Pen by Alan Vachon. Watch this. Watch. It's a Sharpie marker. That is the trick. I seriously wonder about magic sometimes. Right, okay. So that's the trick. Basically, let's look at the pros of this, because look, anytime, I say this on the channel all the time, just because we don't like something or we do like something doesn't mean we're right. It's only our opinion, okay?
I think I've got 2 pros.
Okay, I've got, let me tell you my 1 pro, because I can only think of 1. My 1 pro is it uses normal Sharpie.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it uses normal Sharpie, and at the end, you're left with a normal Sharpie. The gimmick ends up in your hand.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, from that point of view, it's a regular Sharpie, and you can use it. So if you wanted to, for example, say, hey, we need a Sharpie to write to sign your name, boom, you can then actually hand them the Sharpie, which with the previous thing that he brought out the previous week, you couldn't do that. So that's my 1 pro. Have you got a pro for it as well?
Yeah, it's very visual.
It is very visual. It is very visual. However, it's very angly. Like when I was filming the performance to camera with Michael before you got here from school, we had to do it about 10 times. And that was to camera. And that's not because the technique was bad. It's just that, you know, it's very, very it's ridiculously angly. Right? And that's just the way it is. So what you get with this product is you get a gimmick. It's a very common gimmick that you guys will be aware of, but it's been adapted. It's been modified to allow you to have a Sharpie marker, right?
Wait, so if you're going to do this trick, didn't you just take that?
Don't show the gimmick on camera, Ryland. Please don't show the gimmick on camera.
Couldn't you just go like this?
Well, that's the thing. That's the point I was going to make, right? He's using this gimmick to create the appearance of a pen, but there's millions of different ways you can produce a pen. You know, you can produce a pen like that. You know, we've talked in the past about lots of different visual appearances and disappearances. There's lots of different ways.
Yeah.
With minimal sleight of hand that you can make a pen appear and disappear. This gimmick I don't think is absolutely necessary, because a gimmick is useful to use instead of sleight of hand to make the trick easier. And in a way, using this gimmick, it does make the trick easier.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is, I think that most people that would be nervous about using sleight of hand would be even more nervous with this, because it's a very difficult starting position from an angles point of view to be able to deal with. If you've never dealt with angle issues before and you're nervous about palming in any way, shape or form, I think this makes it worse. Now, the tutorial does talk about how you can actually make 3 pens appear. He's got a way of actually using the same gimmick to make 3 pens appear. And there's a couple of other things that you touch on. But in essence, what you're buying here is a gimmick that's going to allow you to make a pen appear. I personally think if I was going to make a pen appear, I would literally just do it from the tips of my fingers. I'd just be like, hey, I need one of these. Have you ever seen one of these before? No, it's a pen, or it's a pen. Let's use this. I think that's the best way to do it, and I think it's ultimately a lot easier than using the gimmick. I think that this is one of the tricks that if you watched it and you watch the performance and you're like brand new to magic and you go, oh, that's looked really good, I'll buy the trick, I think you'd be disappointed when you got the gimmick. I'm never going to use this. This is marketed as a close-up performance trick, but I don't think anybody who performs close-up would do this, because unless you are absolutely 100% confident of your angles, it's not going to work. Now, if you're on social media, again, like the previous thing that you brought out last week, is it nice to be able to show your hands empty and then make a pen appear? Perhaps, if you can control the angles and you can do multiple takes. So maybe there's a social media performer out there that would want to use this. But for me, I'm just kind of disappointed. What about you?
Literally exactly what you said.
Exactly what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you giving it? I'm giving it 10%.
I'm going to give it 15%.
15%. So it's 10% from Ryland. No, 15% from Ryland. 10% from me. It doesn't even come with a pen. It just comes with a gimmick. At least if it had come with a pen, we could have had the pen.
Why is it such a big box if it just comes with the gimmick?
I don't know. That's what the gimmick came in. It was this box, and that's what the gimmick came in. I don't know. No idea. But there you go. It's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not impressive at all. That is Hit Pen by Alan Vachon. Now let's move on with the next review. So the next trick is by Elvo Stockman from Penguin Magic. Now, Elvo Stockman's released a lot of tricks through Penguin Magic. Some of them have been good. Some of them, in my opinion, have not been that great. I have gone on record as saying that I think the middle seat is possibly the worst Penguin Magic trick ever created. It is, by any definition, rubbish. And even the great Eric Tate struggled to make it look good. I will say, however, not only is this the best Elvo Stockman trick that I've ever seen, this is one of the most commercial card revelations I've ever seen. Now, I was talking on this channel recently about Harry Moulding, who won BGT. And we both watched his performances, and he won, essentially, with the card force. He had 3 people, pick a card. He forced the 3 judges on the card, and he found them in a really entertaining way by jumping out of an airplane. Now, I made the point on several videos on this channel that it's about the revelation. And sometimes as magicians, we forget how powerful the force of a card can be. And that sometimes magicians will look at a trick and they'll go, oh, it's just a force and a revelation.
For example,
and they'll dismiss it.
You could have 1,000 different forces and one revelation and the trick would be shit. But if you have one force and 1,000 different revelations,
you've got 1,000 tricks.
You've got 1,000 tricks.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's true. That's really true. And I know that, when you do close-up magic, even though you don't do card tricks, you do have some card revelations that you do with you, like the tic-tac thing and stuff like that. And you look at your BGT act, essentially, it was just a force of love. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And then you look at your AGT act, and it was a force of a helicopter. No, that was the semi-final. The audition was the force of scam.
Yeah, scam.
Forces are great. It's how you reveal them. Forces are great. And
About the
this,
revelation.
please do not overlook this, because this is brilliant. You get 2 cards in the package. And I'm so glad you do, because I am going to be performing the crap out of this. I love this. This is going in my deck. I'm going to keep it under the cellophane of my deck, and I'm definitely going to do this. Now, I did a performance of this to Michael while you were at school so that people can see what it looks like. Let's have a look at this performance and then we'll talk about it. Now, Michael, normally I'd have 3 people pick cards. You're going to have to be 3 people. Say stop.
Stop.
That's great. That would be person number 1's card, person number 2's card, person number 3's card. That's 3 cards from 3 different parts of the deck. Done. Watch. That's the first card. Can you remember that one?
Yep.
Very important you remember it. That goes down in the middle of the deck and gets lost. Card number 2, can you remember that one?
Yep.
That goes down into the middle of the deck and gets lost. And finally, card number 3, can you remember that one?
Yeah.
That goes down into the middle of the deck and gets lost. 3 cards, 3 different parts of the deck. Now, I'm going to try and magically find the first card. You tell me what it is, and I'll tell you how I'm going to find it. I'm going to magically make it turn over in the deck. So what was the first card?
The Queen of Hearts.
Watch. That's all I have to do. Mysterious, and yet one card turns over in the middle of the deck. And that, my friend, is the Queen of Hearts. I want you to see, look right there in the middle of the deck. That right there is the Queen of Hearts. That was the first card, right?
Yeah.
Should we try again?
Yeah.
I'll try again. Do you remember the second card? I'm going to use the Queen of Hearts to try and work out what the second card is. Do you remember the second card?
Yeah.
Watch this. The Queen of Hearts is going to try and find your second card. You see, if I just do this, what happens as I slow down, you'll see that that Queen of Hearts is now holding a Jack of Spades. Was that your card?
Yeah.
Was it really?
It was.
Amazing. But watch this. You remember the... I said I was going to use it to find the other card as well. Do you remember the other card? Watch. Now look at what the Jack of Spades is holding. Jack of Spades is actually holding the 4 of diamonds. Was that your card as well? And that is the trick. So, I mean, there's no secret here. You've got a gaffed card and you've got a force. You force 3 cards and then you reveal the card in a variety of different ways. Now, on the tutorial, it's done by Eric Tate. And Eric goes through some incredible forces. He actually has a section on how to force cards. You know, you're getting a FISM winner talking about how to force cards. I think that's pretty good value for money. And then on top of that, you're also getting multiple different handlings and different ways of doing this. But in essence, that is the gimmick card. Yeah. It's a queen holding a jack, holding a 4. I love that. I think that looks great. And I love the fact that you can hold a queen like this. It looks like a queen. There's nothing suspicious. You can throw it in your deck. You're good to go. And then boom, you've got that lovely moment. And I've shown this to a couple of people. I've got a close-up gig tomorrow in London, as you know. Yeah. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this in Mix and Mingle. I know. What's not to love about this freaking trick, right? I can get 3 people involved. I can get 3 people involved. It's quick. I can have this set up in the deck. I can get 3 people to pick a card.
This, like, with a close-up version of a tossed out deck and just get them to pass it to each other.
Yeah, you could. I mean, there's so many different ways that you could do this. And I love it when you do a trick and it creates an impossible object. This is an impossible object. And I love the fact that there's no switches. When you've got the queen there, boom, they see the 4. It looks amazing. And then when they see the 4, boom, you've got that lovely moment when they see the... You know, the whole thing is just really... It's one of those tricks where I go, I wish I'd have thought of this. Why did I not think of this trick? Yeah. I've just put together a gaff deck of cards with Lloyd Barnes, 56 different individual gaffs to do different tricks. Why did I not think of that? This is brilliant.
It is.
And the fact that they're giving you 2 cards in there and it's like really cheap. This is one of the... I'm telling you right now, if I had to picture it in my head...
Values for money.
Yeah, it's one of the best values for money, but also, like, I think, and people are going to call me crazy, I mean it, this is one of the top 10 tricks of this year, I think. And the thing is, it's going to fall under everybody's radar, but it's brilliant. And I love the fact that I'm going to be the one going out and performing this. I'm giving this 120%. This is amazing. Eric kills the tutorial. And it's not because I work with Penguin, because I've slagged off some of their tricks in the past. It's not because, oh, Craig likes Eldo Stockman. Middle seat is shit. I love this. I think this is brilliant. I think this is absolutely genius. 120% for me. Now, I know you don't do card tricks, but I also know you do card revelations. Would you do this? 3 riffle forces, and that's it. That's all it is. And then you've got this lovely moment. You don't have to work hard. You just do that, you do that, you do that. The reactions to this. I know. I'll report back. I'm doing it tomorrow at the gig, but I think this is killer.
Yeah.
What would you give it?
I'm going to give it 100%. 120%.
120% from Ryland, 120% from me. This is great. I'm going to get a few more of these. I don't want to ever be without this. I'm going to order another 3 or 4 of Penguin. There you go. That's brilliant. Elvo Stockman, if you're watching this, more like this, less like middle seat. So next up, we've got Swing by your friends at the Magic Apple. When you were on AGT, you went over and hung at the Magic Apple a couple of times. Your friends at the Magic Apple have brought this out, and this is based on a very old trick. Now, this trick...
We should make a magic banana.
A magic banana instead of a magic apple, yeah. I forgot how good this trick was. I used to do something, the original version of this, years ago. And it always got a really great reaction. I've forgotten how good this is. This is really good. You know, I've always done Daryl's ring and rope routine, or I've used a borrowed ring and string. But this is as good as either one of those. And in fact, in many cases, there's moments where it's better. And I think this is the sort of prop where we kind of dismiss it because it's so old. But it's so old, it's new. And this, first of all, I need to say, for those of you that have got the original of this is so well made. It's a velvet cord.
I got an original one.
Yeah, you have. It's so old, it's new. But yeah, this is so well made. The gimmick does exactly...
It's so old, it's new.
Because it's so old, people have dismissed it. I reckon a lot of people won't know what this is. It's so old, it's new. It feels new to people because it's been around so long. A lot of people don't know about it. But what they've done is the creator of this, whose name is at the bottom, I've forgotten his name, I'm so sorry. You're a genius, by the way. The creator has put together a really well-structured routine. So he's taken the gimmick, and he's got moments where the gimmick is in use, moments where the gimmick isn't in use. He's using sleight of hand, and he's using my favourite technique in magic, or not technique, but my favourite thing, which is getting the magic happening in the spectator's hand. Yeah. He's using some ballsy stuff where he's got the ring on the cord, it's in their hand, he's pulling it away, it comes off in their hand, they're linking it onto the cord themselves. Everything's examinable at the beginning, at the end. This is great. Let's have a look at a performance. I did a performance of this to Michael, so you can see exactly what this looks like. After the performance, we'll kind of go into more depth. If you were here, you could actually examine this cord. You could tug it, you could feel it, you could examine it. It is a normal cord.
Yeah.
Okay. As well as the cord, you actually have this. This is a little ring. It is a solid ring. You could examine the ring as well. Now, the idea with this little game is to take the ring and put it onto the cord. Well, that was a fun game. Shall we play again? Not very impressive, I get this, but if I hypnotise you, watch the ring. You are feeling very sleepy, Michael. You're feeling very sleepy. If I hypnotise you, I can hypnotise you to the point that I can take the ring off the cord. Now, a lot of people, they turn around to me and they say, Craig, because that's my name, they say, Craig, how did that work? Well, I'm going to do it again for you. This time, I want you to watch very, very carefully. Because a lot of people say that I'm not really putting the ring on the cord. They think it's going on the cord, but it's not really. The ring really does go on the cord. Now, the hypnotism thing, that's what magicians call bullshit. It's not, I can't hypnotise people. That's misdirection. It's making you look somewhere else. And while you look somewhere else, I just take the ring and I just pull it off the cord like that. Now, you don't have to do the sound effect. That is just something that I do. If you want to put it back on, you touch the middle of the ring to the middle of the cord. You've got to get it in just the right spot, and then it goes back on. That's how it works. However, at this point, I would now get you to do it yourself, Michael. So look, I want you to watch very carefully. First of all, genuinely the ring goes on the cord. You can see the ring really does go on the cord. Yeah. Once the ring is on the cord, you hold the ends. That's the only way you can get it off. Now, Michael, can you bring your hand in front of the camera? Watch, squeeze that ring for me tightly. Turn your hand over and watch. I want you to do this, and you'll feel the ring penetrating through the cord. It's amazing, Michael. It's a miracle, but you know what? We're going to go for the big finish. It's easy enough to get it off, but can you get it on? Michael, you're going to hold your hand here, and you're going to throw it up in the air. Now, don't throw it so high up in the air that it bounces off the ceiling and lands over there. You want a nice little gentle toss.
Okay.
Because everybody likes a gentle toss. Okay, right, here we go. Right there on 3. 1, 2, 3. That's when it goes back on. That's the ring on the cord. That's the ring. That's the cord. Everything is examinable, and that's called swing. So, right, what do you think of this? You use ring and string in close-up. When you do close-up, you use the same routine I do, the Daryl sort of ring and rope routine, don't you? Which is a great routine. The advantage of it is the rope is bigger and thicker. It's part of the fibre optic set. And obviously the ring is bigger and thicker. This is a smaller thing. It's more for walk around, really. But would you do this? Like, there's some really visual moments in this. I mean, when you think about it, you have it's fun to play with as well. You have you have the string examined. You have the ring examined. I love that you can literally just take this on, put it on there, show it. It really is on there, and then boom. I mean, how good's that?
It's very good.
And you can throw it on. Well, you can't. I missed. We'll do that again. You can throw it on. You can take it off. You can do all of this stuff. Everything's examinable at every step of the way. I think this is great. It's not difficult to do. This is the perfect use of a gimmick because the gimmick's in play when you need it. It's out of play when you don't need it. Everything's self-contained. But also, and most importantly, the routine is what makes this.
Yeah.
Every phase builds. I've never seen a routine done with one of these like that before. You know, you've got the visual opening, every phase builds, it becomes more visual, it happens in the hands of the spectators, they're doing the magic. I'm definitely going to do this. This went out my repertoire years ago. I'm definitely going to do this.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
I think it's very, very good.
Let's cover it. No angles,
Not really, no.
easy to do.
Yeah.
A couple of simple moves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do a ring and string routine, you probably already know the moves to do this. Like you already do a ring and string routine, you can do this straight away. Pack small, plays big, takes up no space in your pocket. Instant reset, examinable, visual. You can add extra phases if you want to. You can take phases away. And I think it's going to go under the radar of a lot of magicians as well. I think a lot of people are going to go, you know, it's that old thing. But I love this. Tell the audience what you think.
It's very high quality. It's very, very clever, the fact that they've got the magnet in there.
Yeah.
It's very good.
So,
Very smart.
what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it 120%.
120%. Yeah, I'm giving this 100%. I'm definitely going to do this. I think this is really good, and I commend Magic Apple on the quality of this is exceptional. It really is. The quality of this is so good, and that's important with this sort of trick. So if you want a quality prop that's going to be able to do a really cool close-up routine, this is what you want to go for. We've got one final review. Let's get into that. So the final trick that we've got today is called Psychic Die, and it's by SEO Magic. And what you get here is you get two coasters designed to look like Carlsberg coasters. You get a gimmicked one and you get a real one. Huh?
What's this saying?
It says Carlsbergers, make a beer. Well, yeah, it's Carlsbergers, make a beer. So you get one real one, you get one fake one. Other way around. The thickness. But you get one real one, you get one fake one. And you also get two dies. One is real and one is fake. And what this allows you to do, basically, is force the number 6 in a very fair way. Because what you can do, I don't know why you're given two coasters. I mean, the tutorial for this is like 2.5 minutes long or something. It's not very long, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it's not very long. And I'm not really sure why they give you two coasters, because you're not going to switch this in and out. But the whole idea is that you put a coaster down on the table, and you put a glass down on the table as well. So you put a glass down on the table on the coaster, and they can drop the die into the glass anytime they want to, and it's going to be a different number every single time.
Have the wrong die then.
And when you switch it for the special die, when you drop that into the glass, it's always going to land with 6 pointing up. We haven't got a glass here, I don't think. There's a glass over there. I can get that. So, there you go. So when you drop this in, you're always going to end up with the 6. So you can then pick it up, and the 6 is always going to be pointing up. I did a little performance to Michael. We'll have a look at that performance quickly, but it's basically what you just saw. Cameron, Michael, I've got a cup. I've got a prediction.
Yeah.
And the cup goes on here. And I also have a die. Now, if you were here, you could shake this up as much as you want to, drop it in there, and it's important that you realise that this is a normal die, and every single time it makes a different number, right? It's very important that that's the case. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in here, and I'm going to have you look at the number that's pointing upwards, but I think I've been able to predict exactly what you will do.
Okay.
So you were here, look, I would do this, mix it up, and like that. Okay, so what number is pointing up, Michael?
6.
6. Now, this could be examined if you wanted it to be. Everything could be examined. You could roll it over and over again. And when you open up your piece of paper, I was psychically able to predict that the number would you pick is 6. Every time. I'm just a hero. So there you go. Like, obviously, that's a very basic, simple presentation for it, but, you know, effectively, you can force a number 6. What could you do with that? Well, it's up to you. So they don't really give you anything to do with this in terms of routinings. They're just like, hey, write down, you will pick 6, and get them to roll a die and then predicted the number that's coming out. I'm just not impressed by this at all. I just don't like this. I mean, it's a clever way to force 6. Don't get me wrong. If you have a burning desire to force 6, then this might be the way to do it. But I mean, there's a few questions. Like, maybe if you're a hobbyist or a social performer and you've got like a Carlsberg coaster around with you, or you can justify bringing this coaster out. Like, you know, I brought out a coaster trick with Mark Bennett, and my justification is I nicked these from a... I nicked these from a bar, but the thing with that is the coasters are designed to do the trick. With this is meant to have nothing to do with the trick.
Yeah.
This is the method behind the trick, but it doesn't play any part in the trick. It's not like there's a revelation on there or anything. So the problem is, why would you bring this coaster out? What's your reasoning? They don't go through that on the tutorial. If you're at a gig, why would you bring that coaster out? Now, if you're going around someone's house, you might have a coaster on your table, so that makes more sense. But if you're going to a gig...
Can that be used as like an actual beer mat?
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, it's also gimmicked, so if people spill beer over it, it's going to get wrecked.
That's the whole point of a beer coaster then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other problem. You don't want to get it wrecked. But I mean, if you can justify having that beer mat on the table, you can... But the advantage of this is you can use any glass. You can use any cup, you can use any glass. Because you get 2 dice, they can drop it in there as many times as they want to, and they're going to get a different number every single time. And then when you want them to do it, they just drop it in, and you're going to have the 6, and they can take that away. So, I mean, if you want to force the number 6, I mean, there's a million different ways of forcing the number 6. If you want to force a number 6 in a very fair way, and you can justify having a Carlsberg coaster out on your table, this might be for you. This is most definitely not for me. This is not something that I would do at all. This is the sort of thing that you would find, in my opinion, in a kid's magic set. This is the sort of thing I'd see Tenyo bring out. Honestly, I don't think this is the sort of thing that I would have expected for a professional magician. There you go, 2 6s, boom. What do you think of this? We've not talked about this, right? What do you think of this?
I think that... Do you know what would be good?
Go on.
We've been playing this game in Spanish recently called One Die, One Pen, and like what you gotta do is it's like you gotta roll the dice until you get 6, and once you get the 6, you take the pen off the other person, so you're in pairs, and you take it off the other person, and then you translate it into English. You translate the Spanish sentence into English, and they gotta roll it until they get 6, and it happens. You could use this, so you could each have a card. So when you're doing it, it's like you could have, so it's like, I get a 6, and then when I do it, you're not going to get a 6 straight away. I'm going to take a couple of times, but I'm always going to get 6.
Perfect. So you want to cheat at Spanish? Ryland's got you covered. Me personally, I'm going to give this like 40%. I think
I'm not
it's...
Gonna do this, probably like a
40% for me. What about you?
I'm going to give it a... I give it 40% as well.
40% from Ryland, 40% from me. That is Psychic Die from SEO Magic.
There's a review shop in the bag. There's a review shop in the bag.
No. Don't do that.
There's a review shop in the bag.
Ow. That is another review show in the bag. Thank you once again for joining us on Magic TV. We'll be back next Wednesday with another review show. Don't forget your friend Jess from YMC. She starts the Jessementary tomorrow on Thursday. The Jessementary Season 1, Episode 1 starts. So make sure you...
What happens in it?
Well, it's me helping Jess become a professional magician.
Isn't she already a magician?
Yeah, but professional, as in making money from it.
Oh. I do that.
Huh? I know you do, but Jess has never done a paid gig.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm helping her go from
You helped
really
me do
good.
that. You helped me do that.
Yeah, I've helped a few people. So I'm helping Jess, and that's called the Jessmentary. That'll be up tomorrow. But outside of that, make sure that you follow Ryland on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by going to Ryland the Kid Magician. I'm Magic TV _ Craig Petty, and you want to join the Netrix, which is my online streaming platform for magicians. Just go to thenetrix.com. Good stuff.
Cookies.
Damn it to hell. I'll be back again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you again. We're going to rehearse now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Off to the car park, going to put your sister in boxes. Let's do this.